Great to have you with us. Now, security agencies are meeting Christian leaders today for a discussion on security in churches in the wake of alerts of possible terrorist attacks. Ahead of that meeting, we've been joined by the General Secretary of the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council, Reverend Emmanuel Bariga. Good morning, Reverend. Good afternoon, Reverend. Sorry, tell us more about this meeting.
Good afternoon.
Hello, Reverend.
Yes, good afternoon, sir.
Yes, thanks for joining us on Joy News today. Tell us more about this meeting between Christian leaders and security agencies.
Thank you very much. Well, we received an invitation from the Ministry of National Security for us to come for this meeting today, which is in connection with the jihadist threat on churches. Yeah, so that is briefly what it is about.
Were you given any indication as to what will be discussed about these threats?
No, please. We were not given any indication.
But what are your expectations of the National Security Ministry and security agencies in general about this terror threat?
Well, the security of the entire nation, including churches, I believe is the responsibility for the security agencies in the first place, and then for us all as citizens of the nation. Yeah, so we are expecting that they should be able to provide us with the necessary security, not only the security itself, but also to help us to be security conscious and also to educate us on the ways and means of the operations of these jihadists so that we can identify them when we see one and so that we can keep them informed of any other threats on the lives of our people.
Reverend, you speak of provision of security. Is that to indicate that maybe you'd expect to have some personnel in church this Sunday?
Well, we know that because of our sheer numbers, the national security will not be able to provide all the security that the churches will need. But we ourselves as a council have gone ahead to ask our churches themselves to beef up their security provisions on the ground through other means, and also to contact the national security where there is the need. Yeah, so we are not waiting for the police to provide the security, but we are encouraging our members themselves to go ahead and seek that kind of protection.
Now, on the back of this message you put out to your members, what are some of the measures that your members have put in place?
Well, some of our members have indeed beefed up security in their premises. Some are in the process of installing security gadgets like metal detectors and all that to scan people who will come to the churches. Some of our member churches have invited experts in security to come and educate their internal security operatives so that they will be abreast with the moves of the jihadists themselves, so that they will not be taken unawares. And also they are educating our members, the members themselves, to be security conscious and to take note of any kind of behavior or any kind of person that may be making any unusual moves, so that we can nip any such moves in the bud.
Right. Thank you very much, Reverend Emmanuel Bariga, for joining us. He is the General Secretary of the Ghana Pentecostal and Charismatic Council. Now, in a related development, the opposition National Democratic Congress is asking governments to impose a ban on the importation of arms into the country until emerging security threats such as terrorism, contract killings and vigilantism are dealt with. In a statement issued Wednesday evening, the party said it is alarmed over government's decision to permit the recent importation of a large cache of arms into the country last week. Last week, customs officers at the Tema port raised concerns over the importation and briefly seized the arms. They later discovered the unnamed importer had an Interior Ministry issued license to do so. The NDC wants governments to properly track the distribution of the imported arms. Now, let me give you some excerpts of this statement the NDC put out, and you have that on your screen now. The attention of the NDC has been drawn to the importation of a large cash or pump action and shotguns into the country for private use, apparently by licensed persons. The said weapons were intercepted by customs officers at the Tema port on Friday, May 10, 2019. So beginning with the background of that story, that will take you a bit further down to see the call, the specific call that the NDC has made. Right. It says there's no denying the fact that easy access to small arms and light weapons fuels criminal activities such as armed robbery and terrorism. We are also mindful of research findings which suggest that there are, at the moment, nearly 2 million small arms in unlawful circulation in Ghana, a situation which does not augur well for our peace and security. Of course, the statement concludes by saying government may want to consider the option of placing a moratorium on the importation of arms until emerging security threats such as terrorism, contract killings, armed robberies, and vigilantism are adequately addressed. Issued in Accra, May 15, 2019, signed by Kakra Isamwa, who is the communications director for the opposition NDC. Now, my colleague Bernice Abubedu a while ago spoke to Colonel Festus Buahin Abuaje, retired, who advised governments to heed the NDC's call.
The statement by the NDC should be accepted in good faith by the authorities. I want to be very cautious in understanding the motivation or motivations for the NDC statement. But the aggregate of the regional insecurity, the state of crime within the country, the recent incident at Ayawaso, I think constitutes sufficient grounds for them to make this case. It's a bit difficult in the absence of hard data to put the statement into perspective. As far as I'm concerned, the police information on their website, the Central Firearms Registry, only tells us about the importation of or licensing, of about 4,500 firearms. Way back in 2012. Now, we have no information on how many weapons were licensed 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, and as of now. Now, you go to the website of the Commission, National Commission on Firearms or Small Arms, and their page on firearms, on data, on control, on everything is just blank. So again, you have no sense of how many types, categories of weapons might have been imported into the country. And it gives a bit of concern for worry that we are on the blind side and we have no idea as to the numbers and types of weapons in circulation. Full idea of weapons is that any weapons that is in a system is likely to be used at one time or the other. And it is always, the concern that they might fall into illegal hands. I've had occasion to mention that when I was in South Africa, I was aware that all gun owners were by law, South Africa also required to purchase safes within which the weapons were to be housed. Now, in this country, I'm not aware that there is any law that requires a gun owner to keep guns within safes locked.
Away from security and to health now, and Sector Minister Kweku Agyeman-Manu says government launched an electronic platform to recruit and deploy health practitioners. This is part of measures to ensure trainees who pass out are placed without the usual agitations that characterize the process. Mr. Agyeman-Manu was speaking as the Meet the Press series a while ago.
Those calling themselves bonded and coalition of private nurses picketing the ministry almost every day. These days, when you come there, you wouldn't see red bands in green and white. They are all in the field working. Yesterday, somebody called me, and they're asking for money for accommodation, renting. I said, Nanado gives you a job, and the minister should pay rent for you. So that is the success story that we have got to. Again, to facilitate our progress in recruiting faster, the Ministry has launched an electronic platform to facilitate recruitment and placement of staff at all health facilities. I wouldn't talk much on training allowances. Sometime last year by December, we had the raise. But all that has been cleared. And as we speak, between January and March, we have got a warrant. So we are getting releases that will pay between January and March for next training allowances. So we have lived up to expectation, and we have actually also delivered on one of the campaign promises.
As you just heard Mr. Ajmaminu say, the government has cleared all outstanding arrears on nursing trainee allowances. Now, electronic systems introduced by the NHIA has resulted in an increase in revenue and improvement in healthcare delivery. Meanwhile, all NHIS arrears for health facilities below a district facility will be cleared by end of year, according to Mr. Ajmaminu.
Let me take you through a little bit of what has been done so far. Between 2017 and now, health insurance has paid claims, arrears, and new ones that were coming in, close to 2.2 billion Ghana cedi. 2017, 908 million claims paid. 2018, 1.028 billion claims paid. And 2019 so far, we have done 266 million. 0.8 billion Ghana cedi. NHIA has rolled out electronic receipts of 43 district offices, and preparations are being made to roll out nationally. We identified a lot of inefficiencies within the administration of health insurance and our engagement with our service providers. So we mounted strategies to try to see how we can eliminate these inefficiencies, get our numbers more efficient, to try to remove fraudulent claims and check on how we can take away people who don't deserve to take anything from us. And in that process, we have done electronic receipting in 43 district offices. Monitoring reports indicate that these offices have improved tremendously in premium collection and accountability. Revenues have increased by 33% in the first 6 regions where we actually mounted this: Central, Western, Eastern, Volta, and OT regions, after the introduction of e-receipting. Then we started e-renewal. This has led to complete transformation of NHIS enrollment process. Our benefits include increased renewal numbers within 4 months of implementation. Revenue from e-renewal constitutes 41% of the first quarter 2019 revenues from registration and processing fees. Clinical audits. Strength of clinical audit has resulted in the recovery of 28.4 million for overbilling of claims. So in the past, some providers were overbilling us, and we didn't have efficient systems to vet, so we were just paying. Now we have mounted systems that is trying to eliminate, remove fraudulent claims from our system.
Away from health, some civil society actors in the cocoa sector have debunked statements made by the Cocoa Board CEO that cocoa farmers are not the cause of deforestation in Ghana. According to the group, the Forestry Commission identified cocoa production and expansion as contributing over 80% to agricultural deforestation. They are therefore calling on Cocoa Board and its CEO to clarify their position on cocoa-driven deforestation. My colleague Ifwa Evans Chinui joins me with details. Ifwa, what reasons did the convener of the press conference give?
Yeah, hi Daniel. The group actually was saying that the recently developed forestry reference level document by the Forestry Commission identified cocoa production and expansion as contributing to over 80% to agricultural deforestation. And they are saying this is evident in the continuous reported incidences of cocoa farmers encroaching into forest reserves to cultivate new cocoa farms. So basically, their issue is that the Cocoa Board CEO made some remarks when he was in Switzerland, saying that cocoa farmers are not contributing to forest degradation here in Ghana. They're saying that is untrue because we have the fact that cocoa farmers are the reasons why this is happening. So their stance, they are saying that they are happy with what the Cocoa Board CEO said. The remark that he gave contravenes the CFI, and that's the Cocoa Forest Initiative. And they're saying that we need to work at that and find solutions to the problem.
Thank you very much, Ifwa Evans Chinmi, for joining us with that update. Now, there's an admission of human attitudes contributing to pollution of drains in parts of the country. Some residents living in one of Accra's most populous slums, Nima, have been discussing the cause of choked drains and gutters with plastic and solid waste with us. Komla Adung, who visited the slum community, reports some residents believe the presence of sanitary inspectors along a huge uncompleted drain could be an immediate solution.
A bitter admission by a group of people contributing to their own downfall. Call it fate. The slightest rain here at Nima leaves most homes submerged in floodwaters with waste flowing into homes. But the challenge of waste disposal is a huge one. Partly a reason the Works and Housing Ministry is looking to redevelop this slum community.
As you can see, plastic and solid waste has taken over the entire community and it is gradually eating them up. From what community folk tell me, this particular drain, which was constructed hurriedly sometime 2 years ago, was inappropriately or improperly done, and as a result, the residents have no other option than to dispose their waste off along these drains.
These residents concede they have polluted the environment.
The problem is only the refuse. When they start to rain, then you see people come with the refuse, many things put inside. So maybe to come to be a big problem. When this dawn, I saw them, I talked to them. I talked to them they should be wild, very bold. And if somebody come and put, they should catch the person.
For me and my boys, most of my boys, they used to sit here to have fun and things. So them, if they are here, nobody will come and put baller here. They have been sacking the peoples. Nobody will allow.
But some residents blame the uncompleted work on the drain for the pollution we see here.
For the first time, they didn't make this thing. I think it will be normal than after they can make this thing. Now the rain start coming from here. If the rain come, you come and chop here. So you even pass, you can't pass here. And when they come and do this, the bridge say, we are the people who did our bridge. They didn't do nothing. They just fix it and leave it. And here too, people are living here. It's dangerous.
What will it take then to get this problem fixed, even as government looks to rebuild this slum? Madam Lariatu Yakubu, a property owner here, believes it is time to have sanitary inspectors deployed here to check the menace.
Most of the time, we do collect them and pay money for them. Then some rents, the tenants will just give this thing to these junkies and give them some peanuts. Then they will just walk around. They don't see anybody around. They just leave there. They stand behind your windows. If you're out and you don't like it, you have to pick it and go and pay and throw it away. So I think the sanitary inspectors and other things, with some community volunteers around, it will help. Yeah.
But will this deal with the problem? Well, until then, this eyesore will remain, and the poor waste disposal habits of some of the residents here will compound issues. Komla Adum, Joy News, Nima.
Now, reservoirs ensure that water is available, especially in times of dire need. The challenge, however, arises when users inadvertently leave the commodity to overflow and waste away, resulting in shortages at crucial moments. Pupils of Prempeh Basic School in Kumasi are providing a solution by developing a water level detector. On Tech Thursday, Love FM's Kwesi Debra speaks with the young inventors.
Determining the level of water in this container is very easy. What about an opaque and closed container like this polytank? Unless you're using the method I call knocking. Can you hear that? Indeed, the top is empty whilst the bottom is filled with water? Oh, because the water down there is swallowing bit of the sound. But can you do this for the next 30 minutes? Maybe you can, but I certainly can't.
Nowadays, a lot of homes in Ghana, especially homes that have overhead tanks, suffer a lot of problems. That is, when their pump is on, pumping water to the tank, they have no idea where the water has stood in the tank, which leads to overflowing of water.
Master Kelvin Obeng and his colleagues set up a simple machine comprising a resistor, transistors, cables, and LED bulbs.
The yellow light is on, indicating that the water is at the bottom of the tank. The blue light is also on, indicating that the water is half full, which will alert the user that he or she should get ready to turn off the pump. When it's red and the buzzer too is sounding alarm, it means that the tank is full with water, so the user should turn off the pump to avoid overflowing of water.
The children say they are working on a system to cut water flow automatically as soon as the red LED light is activated. Reporting for Joy News, Kwesi Deb.
Inventors in the making, eh? Let's stay with water because the 2019 closed season for canoe fishermen in Ghana came into effect on Wednesday, with virtually all the fishermen staying away from beaches in compliance with the directive. Artisanal fishermen are to cease all fishing activities for the period in a move government says should allow fish to spawn. The ban on fishing has become especially critical because of a sharp decline in the country's fish stock in recent years, blamed on overfishing. Joy News' Henry Kwesi Bedu visited the Jamestown fishing community here in Accra and reports despite the agitations by some fishermen, none of them took to sea to fish.
Some fishermen protested against the announced closed season last week when Joy News visited the community. It's mid-morning Wednesday here at the Jamestown London site. The fishing value chain employs hundreds. Fishermen are busily pulling out their canoes and docking them by the shore. With just a few canoes on the water as they stay anchored close by, the sea looks clear with little activity. Peter Godfred Kofi has been fishing for years. He tells the news team he has been preparing for government's directive and believes the ban will benefit fishermen across the country.
We have started offloading our things from the canoe, and even we are just pulling our canoe upwards so that it can be proper arranged for the time 1 month ahead of us before we can continue.
Okay, so this means you guys are not going to sea?
We are not going to sea. Simple because we have been informed. And as it has been informed, we cannot overlook the law or break the law. So we have to obey to what the president has said or the government has said. But because we are not giving, we all are knowing that it is a good for us all. It's good that even if by 1 month time, by grace of God, we have a catch, it means we also will have profit. Because we have been using all the time going to the sea. At times we find it very difficult, even a month, to have something. But if this is going to happen, and after that, by grace of God, things will change, we will like it.
James Addison agrees with him.
Initially, we were against the directive because we did not understand. But after the minister came to educate us, we now know what they want to achieve with this closed season. Now that we will have to stay at home for a month, we wish government supports us to cater for our children.
Not going to sea for a month is a worry for many. For Mohammed Ofoli, another fisherman, taking care of his dependents will now be a difficult task.
We are in full support of the ban, but we will go hungry. That's why we want the government to provide us with some stipends.
Operators of local eateries, fishmongers and other service providers on the value chain believe the close season will bring hardship as sales will decline drastically.
Can the government look after our families during this period?
For 1 month, Now
that the close season is here, we have no other option than to comply. But I will be grateful if government gives us an alternative source of livelihood. It will be really appreciated.
For 1 month,
Some government officials have been touring the fishing community. We met the executive director of the Fisheries Commission, Michael Arthur-Dadzi, who says government is collaborating with the Ghana Navy to ensure strict compliance.
In fact, the security agencies are part of the enforcement process. Ghana Navy, as I said, they are at high seas. In fact, they are at sea patrolling. We have the fisheries enforcement unit having been deployed. We are doing beach combing. Our zonal directors are on the spot, also giving us information.
As mixed reactions greet the close season, most fishermen at Jamestown are complying with the directive, hoping the move will achieve its intended aim of ending the overexploitation of marine resources, especially fish stock, which has been on the decline over the years. Henry Kwisibedu's report for Joy News.
Still live on Joy News today with me, Daniel Dazi. Dow joins us in just a moment with business, and he'll be telling us how the Tema Mpankandan, a rail line, is expected to be operational by June 2020. He joins us in a moment.
For the first time in the history of our country, if it is God's will, by June 2020, would have crossed the river, Akosombo River for the first time.